Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We've got a clip of an SEC attorney talking about the biggest risk to Ripple and XRP in this case. And will this case go to the Supreme Court? Let's roll that beautiful intro and find out.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. Right now, $893 billion market cap for crypto. We're up 0.6%. Good afternoon, everybody. Just over $17,000 for Bitcoin. Ethereum is $1,200 plus. We see the market cap for Tether, ladies and gentlemen, is at $65 billion plus. XRP is 39 cents. We are off by 0.3% in the last hour, and we are up 0.2% in the last 24. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done it, you need to go click the link underneath this video. This is turning out to be an incredible mentoring community, not just myself, but an incredible community of people surrounding each other. It is the Digital Perspectives Mastermind group. And I tell you what, in a time of uncertainty, you can't know everything that's happening. We are better together. You get full access to the private Telegram group, which is over 700 people in it. There's amazing information there. Weekly live streams, which are really deep dives into different areas and subject matter that we want to get better in while we prepare in this time of uncertainty of how to come out of this market. Private groups and lessons, an exclusive VIP ticket for our live event in Las Vegas. It is a one-year membership plan right now. It is a small investment, truthfully, to make into yourself for the year, and you will come out better on the other side of it. Don't mess around. This group is really remarkable, and not because of me alone. Make sure you check it out. Elon Musk says Sam Bankman-Fried should go to prison. And I agree with him. Let's give him an adult timeout being in the big house. Yeah, I agree. You know, it is not unclear to me as mainstream media and certainly others are trying to portray that it was just accident or crime. I can tell you that. I believe it was absolutely criminal what took place there. BNY Mellon CEO calls for smart digital asset regulation. Well, that's funny because we just covered in our first video this morning, Bank of America pretty much calling for the same thing. BNY Mellon, Ripple partner, Bank of America using Ripple in a patent. Things are looking up, ladies and gentlemen, but there may be more to go as far as how this case goes. And we are going to look at some information that's quite compelling. I shared in the private group this weekend, and I believe I've even mentioned it here on the channel, and I have spoken to amicus curiae in this case, the SEC versus people, lawyers who are friends of the court in this case. And I'm not just talking about John Deaton. And I have shared with them, I believe, that this SEC versus Ripple case could go all the way to the Supreme Court. If you'll remember, shout out to Stuart Alderati, General Counsel for Ripple, had said Ripple test. We all said Ripple test, just like Howey test. Well, the Howey test came from going all the way to the Supreme Court. If we, in fact, have a digital asset test known as case precedent, which is set by the Ripple test, I would think, and I'm not a lawyer, but I would think that's going to need to go to an appellate level and then probably ultimately to a Supreme Court level. Now, that doesn't mean that Ripple may be handicapped, and certainly it could be here in the U.S. We'll have to wait and see. That's what the ruling is for. But until then, let's take a look at this very quickly here. Stuart Alderati continues to pound the ground here and saying, following the bouncing regulator, Howey provides clearly expressed tests for determining what constitutes an investment contract for 2221 from the SEC. However, Hinman's speech provided 13 expressly non-exhaustive factors that market participants could consider. December 2nd, 22. So, you know, there is a lot there that needs to be addressed, and it will be exciting to hear the court rule on it. And while it is now wait and see for a decision from Judge Annalisa Torres, Ripple continues to not sit back and calls out the SEC for its windy, contradictory statements. Don't forget that the judge in the case also referred to the SEC's approach as an unlawful allegiance to the law. It is quite a remarkable statement. We will see how this shakes out. I also want to remind people as well that there are many ways that this course could come, or a court case could resolve, right? I believe it was Jeremy Hogan, shout out to him, that told us there could be more than a dozen or a couple dozen ways that this outcome could go. It is not simply win or lose. And shout out to John Deaton for that as well. Remember, James K. Filan said to us a few days ago that he believes that she will decide all of the motions together. The summary motion, the sealing, and the Hinman emails. All in one motion is what he believes, and one written ruling. So that's going to be quite a bit to sift through too. This is a clip here from Mark Moss's channel, and shout out to Mark for this. This is a great conversation, and although that we differ, and I certainly differ from Mark's opinion of Ripple and XRP, and that's fine. There's room enough for everybody here. This is still a great conversation with an SEC attorney that he has on his show, James Murphy, known as @MetaLawman. And I hope that I get the opportunity to speak with him. I have reached out to him. And oh boy, he says the SEC versus Ripple case could go all the way to the Supreme Court. Let's hear him tell it. Shout out to Mark for a great conversation again. And I hope that Mark gets John Deaton on his show to really help him lay out the facts of what's really going on and the use case utility of XRP that exists. You're going to want every second of this. Take a listen here.
Class of XRP holders who have intervened in the case. These are the ones who are supposedly injured, the ones that the SEC is supposed to be protecting. They've entered the case together in a class action to ask the SEC to stop what they're doing and stop destroying Ripple because they believe in it. They own the token. They knew what they were doing when they got the token, and this is a big waste of time. We are not victims here. We're good. We want you out of here. That is an uncomfortable spot.
You mean don't ruin?
Now, before Mark chimes in with the he doesn't care for Ripple or XRP, and that's fine. But I do want to share to everybody that James Murphy is discussing John Deaton and the class action lawsuit and the 76,000 plus XRP holders that are being represented in this case in an unprecedented manner is what he's talking about here.
Our investment, we're hoping to get some money back out. Don't crush it to zero.
That is precisely it, Mark.
Although it is not completely it. Yes, people don't want to get wrecked, but the reason that there's a big fight here is because there's actual use case utility, and I believe you could make a quite good argument that price is being driven by that utility and not by speculation. But keep listening.
You think about, I know you're an investor, you think about risk, categories of risk and counting them out. The biggest risk associated with Ripple is the government itself.
Boom. Boy, finally someone set it aside from a YouTuber, right? The biggest risk is the government itself. And it's important to remember, as much as that may scare you, and make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, I'll say this. That's why I have said so many times on this channel, that's why they have pursued the adoption around the world as if they already lost the case. Brad Gardinghouse said that. And the reason for that, I have said over and over and over again, is because it puts pressure and incentive on the United States government that the rest of the world already thinks and understands XRP to be money. They don't think it, they've said it. Singapore, UAE, Switzerland, there's so many other places, Japan. So what happens here in a decision affects the United States, not the rest of the world. And that is a very, very key, important point to understand, that the U.S. would be handicapping itself from the practical use case of this asset.
It's not fraud or misconduct or the market reception to XRP or anything. It's the government is the risk factor. That's not how it's supposed to be. And what's weird, and this sort of gets to your question, what's weird is everybody in crypto, you know this, I know this, everybody knows it. Of the 22,000 tokens, some of them are out and out frauds where the people just issued a token, took the money, and split.
I would put XRP almost up at the top of that, though.
What's that?
I would put XRP up there. EOS may be the biggest, $4 billion they took and disappeared, but XRP, I mean, they created 100% of the tokens in a pre-mine, and they just enriched themselves, and they spent it all on public policy and mostly a lot of what I would consider fraud. And since
Okay, he gets stuck there a little bit, but let me just clear this up because Mark still has a great conversation with him. And I know he differs in opinion, and that's fine. But here's what I want to say is that, first of all, just for clarity, XRP was created by OpenCoin, and it was gifted to Ripple Labs. And were there some of the same people that were at OpenCoin that are at Ripple Labs? You bet there were. Does that cause a problem legally? Some of that is what they're trying to sort out in that case right now. But the reality here is this. There is use case for the token, and you're about to hear more about that in just a second. Take a listen.
Of promising things, promoting things that just aren't true.
I haven't seen Ripple promote any things that just aren't true. That I have not seen. And if you have evidence of that, I would love for you to show us that.
But
they have created utility situations. Banks have settled international remittances using Ripple.
That's gotten very uncomfortable for Mark right there as a Bitcoin maxi, but that is the truth. And as Thomas Jefferson, I believe, was the one that said it many, 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 many years ago, a revolution comes from within. Ripple understood this from the beginning, and they built within the financial banking and government system. That's why RippleNet, on-demand liquidity, it's all KYC end to end. They are compliant. That is why we have use case, right? Because they're not trying to build something that is anti-government, anti-establishment. And I know that goes against the libertarian views of crypto, but the reality is they have created enormous use case. That's why there's quarterly reports that show the progress of the partners and customers that use it. That's why there's been so many amicus brief filings in this case to prove that exact point. But let's keep listening. Oh, by the way, very quickly, sorry, but it's an SEC attorney actually making the case that there is utility involved here.
So there's something there.
Yes,
I'm just saying, why don't you get the actual fraud people who had no intention of building something?
The gross ones, yeah. What about this case with Library, where obviously the Ripple is sometime next year, we'll find out, but Library just got settled. Library created utility. They actually have a working product that actually people use. My videos go on Library or on Odyssey now. I don't know if anybody used XRP, but they used Library, and they claimed that they have utility, and the judge said there's no triable defense for that being I think that's the wording that he used. No triable defense for that. Like, it's a security, black and white. What does that have an effect on potentially with Ripple and other things?
Well, that had a ripple effect. So yeah, all the lawyers in the business were passing around that decision when it came out. And you know what? You'll hear people say, look, it's one judge's decision. What matters, what constitutes a precedent, is a decision of an appellate court.
You hear that? What constitutes a precedent is a decision from the appellate court. Well, we're in the circuit court. And you don't have to be a lawyer to know that this has got to go another level up to get a precedent. Oh, brother. I've been saying this. Now, I think this case goes all the way to the Supreme Court in order for the Ripple test to be just like a Howey test. Keep listening.
And so we have all these courts of appeal throughout the United States, and then the Supreme Court sits on top of that. And there are, a lot of judges who get things wrong. mostly get things right. And so people will disregard a single judge's opinion, and what matters are what appellate courts say. And so I got this question on Twitter yesterday about what do you think is going to happen on Ripple? And I said, what I think is going to happen is everybody's going to overreact, whether it's a win or a loss, because what this judge has to say about it is really not going to be that important.
Interesting.
There are two more layers of appeals, what an appellate court says about this and eventually the Supreme Court. That's what will matter. But people will overreact. And what is that overreaction going to look like? You could see a lot of other tokens get delisted in a hurry. Then the liquidity fall out of bed. And therefore, if you can't sell a token easily, the value is going to plummet. So there would be, I would expect, significant market fallout if it's a full-on win for the SEC at the trial level.
Now, we don't know how that will go and how and who will actually win and on what parts. Remember, it's not as simple as win or lose. It could be on several different decisions. But if there is a ruling that, just for an example, if there's a ruling I could see where the early days of XRP are considered a security but no longer are, you have to understand how that pertains to the rest of the market now at that point. That's going to inform the rest of the market is essentially what I take from what James Murphy is saying there. Listen, again, whether I agree with Mark or not, I still think he has a great show and he still does a great job. And this was a great conversation. There's great talk about the FTX as well. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to James Murphy. And let's move to the next piece right here because there's some information on the charts from Ed Crypto here. And he's basically telling us if we can get above this red line right here and turn that into support instead of resistance where it's hitting its head now, there's a great chance that the indicators and the tools on the charts are saying that we could go all the way up to this one line here, which would put us between 70 and 75 cents. Not financial advice from me or anyone else, but before I get out of here, I want to share my digital perspectives with you on this. December 6th through December 8th, I'm going to be at the Global Investor Conference, and I will be speaking, I believe, on a panel with Linda P. Jones, maybe some other people as well, and it is going to be an amazing conversation. I already know the subject matter, the stuff we're going to talk about. You got to join to come. It's free to come. Sign up. Get the link. I'll have it underneath the video. Don't mess around. This is going to be an incredible time to really talk about what is happening in these turbulent markets. I will catch all of you on the next one.